Hi, and welcome to this 50th episode of Strap a Watch. I'm Michael Knapp, Michael Knapp Leather. So yeah, it was a year ago, almost right now, I put out my first official show. It'll be next week. So that's averaging just about one show a week for the last year. And I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. We're still trying to grow the channel. It's all about promoting enthusiasm for the wearing of watches, especially mechanical watches, and of course leather straps. I am a leather strap maker. And on this week's show, it's pretty special because I just got done with this build and we're going to go into some depth on the watch, and you're going to see me hand make this, and it's actually for a lady. Her name is Allison. She's an attorney out of Atlanta. Allison reached out to me several weeks ago. She bought this Omega Speedmaster that has orange, and I think maybe it's her favorite color, numerals, numbers on the dial, mother of pearl. We're gonna go into depth. You're gonna see this watch up close and personal. It's pretty cool. And she asked me if I could make a orange alligator strap for it, because the backstory is she got this watch off of Chrono 24. Like I said, it was in Italy, and they would not release it with the original alligator skin strap that was on it from Omega. And so they shipped it to her with the head and the single point deployant clasp, and she ended up buying this cheapo strap. She said, just go ahead and throw that away after you make mine. And I've just finished with it, Allison. I'll be shipping this off to you here early this week, and I can't wait till you get it and see what you think. Turned out, I think, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So you're going to see me hand make this, and we're going to talk about women in watches in today's world. There's a great newer YouTube channel out. Her name is Jenny L. And she's out of Germany, but she speaks very good English. She went to university in Scotland, and great content on her shows. And she is also really trying to help promote enthusiasm for women wearing watches today. She talks about why she prefers men's watches, and that's kind of where we're at in the world right now. Many more women are actually wearing what traditionally would be termed as men's watches. For instance, this would be considered what is unisex. I mean, I've seen it for sale online. It says lady/unisex. I could absolutely wear this watch, no problem. So that's some of the things we're going to be talking about today. I'll show you some of what Jenny had to say about exactly that, because there's more women in the world than men. And I don't know what the demographic is, what the metric and the statistics are of male enthusiasts of watches compared to women watch enthusiasts, but man, it's got to be way over 90% men to women. I mean, think about it. And so, I mean, if we can help promote getting more women involved, guys, you got girlfriends and wives, help, maybe buy them a watch. I've done this with my wife. She, in all honesty, I mean, she's gotten into watches, but she doesn't want a high-end watch. She just doesn't. She wears a watch every day now. She never used to, but she really digs NATO straps, which breaks my heart because I want to make her an alligator strap or something nice. But she's tried them on, and she just really prefers NATO straps. And hey, that's cool. It's whatever you like. That's the point. This is 2020. By the way, there's that new Rolex OP with the turquoise. It's kind of the Tiffany blue dial. But I actually have an order on with my AD. I got a little clout down there, and I'm getting that watch. I also yesterday got a hold of the Omega boutique where I bought my Omega Seamaster, and talked to him about getting a Snoopy, silver Snoopy. And in talking with him, there's a 6-month wait. I've got to go down and put the full amount down, and I think I'm really gonna do it, man. Oh, I think I'm gonna do it. It's such a neat, cool watch. I don't care if it's probably $5,000 overpriced, but I want that watch. I want that watch. So that's what we're gonna be talking about. You're gonna see me hand make the strap on today's show. Stick around after the intro. We'll get right into it. Well, here I am coming into the leather studio a few nights ago to get ready to make Allison's new orange alligator watch strap. So I'm just getting the hide down. This is before I've even turned the shop lights on. I had just been outside with my belt sander sanding down some knives. So here is the hide. I don't usually wear that leather apron too much while I'm on the show, but in certain times when I'm doing some leather work, you'll see me wearing that. And so I'm going to be cutting out the uppers of the alligator. You're going to be seeing me put all of the components of this strap together. And of course, too, what I said is we're going to be talking about women in the watch world today and how can we encourage more women to get into the watch world. And so just real quick, like I was explaining with my wife, I had bought her a Seiko watch about 15 years ago. And she had never owned a watch before this. And I spent about $300 on this, probably a 28 millimeter, smaller, more lady style watch. It had a really cool dial. It was more of a jewelry piece. It had a really cool bracelet. By the way, too, this is me cutting out the pads. I always get asked about how I make the pads on watches. And I make it out of this very soft and supple, tempered vegetable tan leather. So it's really soft. I always taper off the ends and kind of skive them down, and I bevel the edges of it so you can see how soft it is. But getting back to my wife, Linda, and getting her into watches, and it's not like she's into, the art and mechanical automatic movement watches. She's not. I wish she was. Like, here's Allison's watch, and Allison owns a Z Blue Dial Milgauss. How cool is that? But this Seiko I had first bought her, she had it for years, and then she lost it. And one day I just noticed she wasn't wearing it, so I asked her, I said, "Where's your watch?" She said, "Oh, I didn't want to tell you, but I lost it." I said, "For real? You really?" "Yeah." And I said, "Well, let me get you another one." And she said, "Well, no, I don't want anything very expensive. Please don't get me anything over $100. That last one you got me was just really way too small, Michael." And I said, "Okay." So I ended up buying her, originally first, I just got her a Timex watch. And the thing is, she absolutely loved it. It just shows you're never going to know, who's going to like what. And everybody's so different. And then I also got her this Cutlery, I think it's pronounced right, and it matches the shirts like you saw in the intro that we wear day in, day out at our hearing healthcare clinic. And those are the straps she prefers. So, and here again's Allison watch. So, I talked with this Allison over the phone, called her about 2 weeks ago, and didn't anticipate this, but we had a great call, about 45 minutes. We're similar in age. So, what does that mean? That means like going through high school and college years together, and, the same kind of music and kind of culture that at least was going on and around in the United States at the time, and really got to know her. And like I said, she owns the Z Blue Dial. I don't know any other lady that owns a Z Blue Dial Milgauss right away. That's my favorite watch in my collection. And I was just like, wow, how cool can you get? And then in talking to her to find out, her husband is not into watches. He owns a watch. He wears it daily. I think it's just the one watch he owns. And she's the one who's into the enthusiasm of, the movements and the history and the quality and everything behind, mechanical and automatic movement watches like I am, and like those of us other watch nerds and geeks that we kind of get that way, and then a lot of us, we get what we call the watch disease, where there's never enough watches. We're always looking for one more watch, the next watch to add to our collections, and they're fun to collect, man. I mean, the problem is it's an expensive hobby of a collection to acquire. It takes time, it takes a lot of money, and not everybody has the resources to do it, but everything's relative. I mean, there are really cool watch collections that you can acquire pretty inexpensively. And then again, getting back to with women in the watch world is, it might be best too to start a lady off like with my wife with quartz watches. She even said, "I don't want anything you have to wind up." That's my wife. And, I can think of all sorts of special occasions to get a lady a watch, or a young girl, maybe a sweet 16 birthday, parties, or high school graduation, college graduation, those types of milestones. Turning 21 here in the United States is a big deal, but 25, the big numbers, the 30, the 40, those are all pretty big numbers. And so there's all kinds of occasions, and it's kind of just knowing the individual, I think, the woman. But another thing, like I did with my nephew, was I gave him the opportunity. I put a limit. I said, "Listen, you're turning 25. I want to buy you a nicer watch for your 25th birthday." He was wearing a watch somebody gifted him. And I said, at first it was like a $300 limit, then it was a $500 limit. And I sent him examples of what I like. And then finally he pulled the trigger and said, "Oh, this is the one on this Hamilton right here." So, I mean, that's another option, is give them a limit and let them pick it out. But like even with what Jenny L said on her show about, why she just did this on a Q&A, why she prefers men's watches. So right here you can see that's Jenny, in the left-hand bottom corner is from the Q&A, the question that was proposed about, preferring men's watches. And what she had stated was that watches that are categorized, quote unquote, as ladies' watches tend to be very small, just like with what my wife said, and that oftentimes they're iced out. That means, lots of diamonds, and they're very dainty, more, fashion jewelry type than the watch. They don't have the kind of complications that she prefers and likes. She's into that kind of stuff. And that men's watches offer a much bigger variety to choose from, with all sorts of different materials and sizes. And that one of the big statements she says, you don't get the best value in terms of price. You get very little for very much money. So, the reason she prefers men's watches, and I think it's really spot on to where the majority of female watch enthusiasts are today, is, kind of looking at more of a man-style watch. Even there's a lot of women wearing dive watches. It's probably not for all women, but you saw Sharon Stone and Charlize Theron in the beginning in the intro, both wearing dive watches. So the manufacturers, they're going to have to start really looking at this. And like I was saying, Oisin O'Malley of the Timeless Watch channel about 6 weeks ago talked about this very subject as well. So it's an important subject. I think, if you're a guy and you're kind of more of a chauvinistic type of guy and don't really care about women in the watch world, well, you oughta, because it's just like I said, they make up, well over 50% of the population, and yet a huge minority of watch enthusiasts are women. And if we could get more women involved, it's just going to make the industry grow and be stronger and better and healthier for the long term. And that's what I'm all about. That's what strap a watch is all about, to promote enthusiasm for the wearing of watches so that the tradition of mechanical watches doesn't, go by way of the dodo. I want this to be around for hundreds and hundreds of years and, see them improving on all kinds of things, from different materials and coming up with different ways of getting complications and getting, smaller components. And I mean, it's going to happen. I mean, they're constantly improving and improving and improving. So I think it's very important to try to get women involved. So here it is, final product. I'll tell you, I cannot wait for you to get this, Allison. I'm so anxious for you to wear this and let me know what you think. So as you can see all these shots, I tell you, I love it. I love it. So thank you so much for joining me today, you guys. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And God bless you all. Until next time, keep on ticking.